Would like to lead off today's video by welcoming everyone to a super mega facepalm Saturday. There is a story out now, mainstream media, front page, that truly, when I first read it, I thought it was a mistake. It was that dumb, and I thought for sure they would have retracted it by now. But now, 24 hours later almost, it is still up, so we're going to cover it. Hang on to your hats, folks. You're not going to believe this. We have been talking about psychological operations over at the Patreon channel for a long time. There's an idea out there that if you can get people into an emotional state and keep them there, they won't think. They will enjoy living in their little puddle of emotions. And they won't ever want to leave for any reason whatsoever. It gives you, the thinking person, a huge advantage. But sometimes people can get trapped. They believe that they're thinking when really all they're doing is assessing their emotions about something. Now, join us over at Patreon if you would like to learn the details of this, how to combat this. The mainstream media is masters. They've been doing this for a long time to people. It's only $1 per month. Where did I learn about it? U.S. military. I was an interrogator. I can show you all the bells, the whistles, the nuts, the bolts, how they draw people out of their thinking brains and into their feeling brains. And once you have them there, it's over. $1 per month, even less if you sign up for an entire year. Fully refundable first 90 days. Would love to have you over there. Now, what's the story? You're not going to believe this. Black couple sues after they say home valuation rises nearly $300,000 when shown by white colleague. Published 6:12 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, August 19, 2022 by Justin Gamble and Virginia Langmaid, CNN. Here's the couple. Nathan Connolly and Shani Mott are suing an appraiser and a mortgage lender after their home was estimated to be worth $472,000. Those of you that have the ability to write that number down for a minute. $472,000. After the couple removed any indications that black people of color, lived there, a second appraiser valued the home at $750,000. A different appraiser. Now, depending on what you were going to do with your home, you could have been happy about either one, but we're going to cover that a little later. Nathan Connolly and Shani Mott filed suit against 2020 Valuations, LLC, its owner Shane Lanham, and LoanDepot.com on Monday, alleging the defendants, 2020 Valuations, LLC, and its owner discriminated against plaintiffs by dramatically undervaluing their home in an appraisal because of plaintiffs' race and their home's location adjacent to a black census block, notwithstanding that it is also located within Homeland, an affluent, mostly white neighborhood, and LoanDepot.com discriminated against them by relying on that appraisal and denying their refi loan. Okay, two pieces of information. Appraised at $472,000, they're looking for a refi. Okay, now here's where things go off the rails. You ready for this? According to the complaint, Connolly and Mott are black professors at Johns Hopkins University. Johns Hopkins University. Let's see if we can speak English. Who applied to LoanDepot.com. Now, they're both black professors at Johns Hopkins. How much do Johns Hopkins professors make? The average? $189,000 each. Pardon me. $189,000 per year each, which is 174% above the national average. A story attempting to allege racism is about two professors that between them are earning 174% above the national average for their job. Oh, but it gets better. When they did this, they were shocked at the appraisal, recognized low valuation because of racial blah, 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 blah. Connolly and Mott later reapplied with another lender, and then what they call whitewash their home. And they had a white colleague present the home to a new appraiser. And the suit claimed that the valuation came back at $750,000, more than $250,000 higher. Now, I'm sure a lot of you have done the math already. Wait a minute. 174% above the national average in income. In Maryland, they're just outside of the top 1% of wage earners. The annual income required to be in the top 1% in Maryland is $421. Now, I'm just going on the average. They're at $390. And they're talking about a house that is just a little bit more than what their annual income is. Usually the rule is triple, meaning if you earn 60 grand, you should probably max out at about 180. So between them, they're making 390. So what's triple 390? About $1 million? And they're talking about a house that's somewhere between $470,000 and $750,000. And they're looking to refinance it. Think about that for a minute. They have a $390,000 income between them. They're living in a house that's somewhere between $472,000 and $750,000, and they're looking for a refi? You've got to be out of your mind. And here's where it really gets bizarre. Maryland's average effective property tax rate is 1.06%, just below the national average of 1.07%. Now, I did the calculator on this before. They've basically just cost themselves $5,000 a year in taxes. Because if you take 472 times 0.016, which is 1.6%, okay, your taxes would be $7,552 a year. Now, let's clear that out. Remember that number, 7,552. Well, what if your house appraised at 750,000, which is what they wanted, times 0.016? That's 12,000. That's $4,448 more in taxes. They just cost themselves by jacking up the price of their property. With what they're making, that place should be long paid off by now. What in the world is going on in this case where anyone could prove racism? They're living in a home that, even on the low side, is way nicer than most Americans. They're earning in their state, right at the top 1% of income earners. And they just made a decision. You see, they could go either way with it. If somebody had decided to appraise it at 750, they could also say, hey, wait a minute. Our house is near a black census block. They're overappraising our house to charge us more in taxes. So when they get the low estimate, it's also racist because then they don't get approved for their refi loan. Why would somebody making this kind of money need a refi loan? Because when you look at the numbers of what they're making, versus the value of the house. Let's just split the difference. Let's say it's worth $600,000, somewhere in that ballpark. They're making $400,000 a year, almost, in income. They should be able to be making double and triple mortgage payments easy. This thing should be long paid off. In which case, why in the world would you want to pay more taxes? $5,000 more a year in taxes. That $5,000 a year versus the difference in the loan? That's just bizarre. The entire story proves a lack of racism. It shows a lack of it. You have two professors earning 174% of the national average for their job. 174% of the national average for their job. And as far as the whole country goes, $400,000 a year combined income, that's got to be at least 2%. These are 2%ers crying racism. How in the world? How in the world, when there are people lined up for blocks, for miles at food banks, can CNN honestly talk about racism in this case? This is bizarre in the extreme. And nobody's called them out on this in 24 hours. So we're gonna. PsyOps 101, kids. There's no way. There's no way that house versus their income and needing a refi and having to now say, okay, we want our house valued at $750 instead of $472, and that's going to cost them an extra $5,000 a year in taxes. What's the loan for? Not that it's my business, but if it's going to cost you an extra $5,000 in taxes a year, plus having to pay back the loan, it doesn't make any logical sense that you would sue anybody. If anything, you would sue them the other direction if they overvalued your house because of the taxes. It's just bizarre. So anyway, I'll leave it there. But super mega face palm Saturday. God bless. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.